Hello there, friends. It's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. Today we are doing a video hop for the brand new holiday release for Trinity stamps for 2023 for September. And yeah, I'm excited to share the card that I'm going to be making. So let's talk about what we're using and then we'll talk a little bit more about the hop. I've got the Merry and Bright die set. It's got all those really cute retro stars. We also have our checkered background add-on. So yes, remember the checkered background? These go with it. We've got striped squares and snowflakes. We're going to be using a one light because I just have to light this card up. So I have a piece of turquoise cardstock that I've trimmed down to about 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's a little bit smaller than an A2 sized card. I've brought in my tonic platform and I'm going to just put everything down using some of those magnets and a little bit of mint tape. And then we've got one of our Trinity blending brushes and we have some KITSCH FLAMINGO Distress Oxide because those Distress Oxides look gorgeous on colored cardstocks. So I'm going to go ahead and blend that ink on there. Because this is a bit more of a pigment ink, I don't want to blend too hard because sometimes that can seep out of the edges. So I've got that down. Using that striped squares, I'm going to clean up around that because I do want to bring in some white and I don't want the white to mix with the pink. And so now I'll bring in those snowflakes. So like I said, there are some previously released products in this stencil line that go along with this, and they are a must because you can make some darling backgrounds. So I've brought in some Shark Tooth by Ink on 3 and I've got my blending buddy. And again, I am trying to blend kind of lightly, also because I don't want that background to overtake what I'm going to be doing on the front. So I'm lightly blending that white, also just trying to make sure that it doesn't seep through those snowflake edges. And then when I am happy with how that looks, we'll pull that stencil away, and then you can kind of see that background where it's a little darker in some areas, kind of subtle in others, and I just love it. So we're going to let that off to the side. Well, actually first I'm going to do some splatter because I love me some splatter, as you well know. I brought in my Trinity gold palette. I'm going to splatter some of that silver all over that background. I don't do a very good job of showing you that, but you will see it in the pictures later. So we're going to let that sit off to the side to dry. I went ahead, for time's sake, and die cut out my shadow and also my words from the Merry and Bright, and I used some glitter cardstock for the words themselves, and I'm going to use a little bit of Crafty Glue Friend to glue down our word to our shadow. And it's super easy to do. I just like to grab out my reverse tweezers. If you don't have a pair of reverse tweezers, it's like a crafting must, in my opinion. Like, I use them so often, it's not even funny. In fact, there are some products, I just need to make a video. There are some products that I just use all the time, like pretty much every video. And so yeah. This is definitely one of those, though, that I don't know that I could survive without. My fingers just couldn't hold some of these smaller pieces. So, and then I'm going to use my pickup stick to grab out the little tittle for the eye. That's another thing I use all the time too, is my pickup stick. And I've put all those inside of my tidy tray just to make sure that I don't lose anything. Once again, another thing that I always use. And so we're going to just plop down all these letters for the Merry and the Bright. I like how the font is a little bit different on both of these. You could probably use them separately, but they look darling together. So like I said, this video is a part of a video hop for Trinity stamps. So down in the description box down below, just hit that little down arrow. It'll open up that description box. You'll see all the items that I use to make this card, along with where to head for the next hop. You're going to want to hop around, see what's going on. There's also stuff going on Instagram. And I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this release. There is so much great stuff. Oh, I was over the moon when I saw this release. And yeah, you can head back to my channel and you can even check out the release and review video to check out all the products as well. I have tried to make samples using almost all of the products. There's just so much and it's so great, and it just puts me so in the mood. I just want to start playing some Christmas music. I know we're only in September, but I love making Christmas cards. Those are the things that just make my heart go pitter patter. So, all right, so now I'm going to go ahead and glue down all of our pieces to the front of our card panel. It is dry now, and so I'm using my Crafty Glue Friend. You could use some foam tape, but because I have decided that I want this to be a light up card, which you'll see here in a bit, I decided to just go ahead and glue all this down to the front of our card panel because everything is going to be popped up as it is. So yeah. And then I did use a decent amount of glue on our star. We want to make sure that dries before we move on to the next part. So I'm going to set this off to the side, and then I'm going to get my card base ready, which measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And I'm using my Teflon tools to score that at 4.25 inches. Everything's fairly dry at this point, so I'm going to bring in this little foam pad that I have along with my pickup stick, the little pokey end to my pickup stick. We're going to poke a hole in the center of that star, and then I'll just move that around to make that hole a little bit bigger. I use my Teflon tool to make sure that hole stays open, and then we can start getting ready to assemble our one light, because that one light is going to pop through that star. I love any chance I can to use those one lights. So as you can tell, this was a 5-pack and I've used it up because I love the one lights. Well, I love them all, but those one lights make it so easy because that's just how simple. You just put it together like so. Make sure the plus sign lines up with the plus sign, and there you go. You have a light. I do want to apologize if you hear a bunch of bells in the background. That's my boys, my cats losing their minds. I stuck down my panel to the front of my card base and used a pen just to mark where that little light needs to be. And now I'm playing around with where I want the light to go in relation to where the little push button is going to go. So I've decided I'm going to put it this way. So I'll use a little bit of rip and stick tape on the back of our one light. And then you can peel off that release paper, and then you can just prop your one light down, making sure that the light lines up with where you marked your little dot. And then I'm going to bring out some of the world's best foam tape. And this works perfectly for those light up cards that you may have, or shakers or whatnot. And so I'm just trimming that down. I'm not going to go too crazy putting this all over the background. I just need enough just to make sure that it doesn't collapse in the center. Oftentimes, if I am making sure that it doesn't collapse or whatnot, I'm going to go and make sure that I have it all the way around my battery and my light. And then I'll easily just peel off that release paper. And this stuff is repositionable, so that's awesome. Ask me how I know. Pop that down, and then I should have stamped the word push first, but it's okay, it's doable. So I'm going to bring in our Paper Crafting Magic stamp set from Trinity Stamps, and then we're going to stamp the word push down using some pigment ink, black pigment ink, just making sure I'll mark it with my finger again so I know where the push button is. And then once I'm certain, I'll stamp the word push down on top of that. And then I have some more embellishments because I can't stop there, right? I've brought in some bubblegum embellishments. These are flat back sequins, and they make for a very easy mailer. I went pretty liberal on those. I'm going to use my pickup stick along with my crafty glue friend to attach everything down. And then once we have all of that down, that is going to finish off this very fun light up Christmas card that I am so stoked to give away. I just have to wait till Christmas. Okay, so there is the card. I hope you love it as much as I do. If you do, hit that like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as I said, head on down to the description box so you can keep on hopping and be inspired for your Christmas cards. All right, we'll see you soon in another video. Bye, everybody.